what I want to do is we're just going to go over this real fast, Mike, and then what I'm going to do is after we go, first off, we're going to open up in prayer. Try to wait for people to come on board, but I like to be, with excellence and start, things on time. So, Director Brayton, could you go next and open up some prayer, please?
Okay. Lord, Father God, we come here, thank you. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to do another task that you would have us to do another opportunity to usher in the next level of leadership that's going to take place, Lord, in this country and in this world. Lord, we thank you for the leaders that are on the call and the leaders that are trying to get on the call, and the leaders who forgot about the call but intended to be on the call, and those who will get on the call in the future. We thank you for that. We thank you for this organization called Boy Scouts of America. We thank you for this organization called the African Methodist Episcopal Church. We thank you for them being able to join together and to deliver a program that will not only help our youth to advance our youth in the future, but will allow our youth to become excellent and to become world leaders. But Lord, we're here to create leaders, to create world leaders, Lord. And we believe that this program and this denomination will make that happen. Now, Lord, as we turn this meeting over to the leaderships of the Camp La Noche and to Brother Wilson and to all those others who are on the call, we ask you to be with us, guide us, and direct us. Direct our tongues so that we may be able to say the thing that you would have us to say that is in our heart, that our heart is the same as yours. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Okay, so if everybody can see my screen, we're going to kind of start off. I'm going to kick it off, Mike, if you don't mind, and then I'm going to swing it over to you to let you see on the screen because it's kind of important. As far as on the AME side of the coin, we got our AME Camporee landing page for this, where we're going to start having, obviously our ticker down. We got 23 days. We're going to have our sponsor, a link to the Health Commission. But one of the more, of course, we go down here a little bit. We've got our official page back over to the official AME Scouting page of the Christian Education. And then, of course, we've got our main video, which I like to give Mike and those guys kudos. It's a really, really good video showing all the Camporee. That's the camp site over there in Orlando. What we're going to talk about today is the actual registration process. And so I try to make it really clear for everybody. So when you click on the Register Now button, it'll actually take you over to the actual registration page. For the registration page, we've got 3 registration types. We have Scouts, Parents, and Scout Leaders. So what the advantage of this is, obviously we have the Scouts being $200, Parents $200, Scout Leaders, and all you have to do is click on this. You can add on as many Scouts or Parents as you want as a Scout Leader, or I know that we have the capability that if you're not actually associated with an AME Scout unit, but if you're with an AME, you're at part of the AME denomination, but you're a Scout member of another troop, a Girl Scout troop, or a Cub Scout pack somewhere else, you can still register, and we're going to talk about that right now. So let's go ahead and hit the process here for going one Scout, and all I do is click right here, and I can go and continue. From there, what will happen is you'll come up with the registration process here. So you put the Scout's name in, the Scout's address, gender of the Scout, the Scout's birthday, the actual age of the Scout during the Camporee, emergency contact name, emergency contact number, any kind of allergies, medical or dietary concerns, the Scout troop pack number, the Scout's troop pack council, the Scout's city, the Scout's leader's name, and what type of Scout, whether it be a Girl Scout, Boy Scout, Cub Scout, or Venture Scout, and the Scout rank. And then when you hit continue, what it'll do is it'll give you an option to pay with a credit card, debit card, or you can actually pay, you can say pay with a check or money order. It'll process that order. So now, this right here, if it's associated with, is your troop pack associated with an AME? If you say yes, what will happen is that because we want to have AME scout leaders register the scouts and the parents and stuff so there's no confusion, you have to have the actual password as a leader. So you can get that from Director Creighton. He'll give it to you. Just email him. If you look right up here, he has his email right here. And we're going to try to blast this out to everybody, because when we start passing it over to Mike and let him see, he's going to talk about some of the things we're doing for the registration for the AME side of the coin, and we're going to start needing people to get registered very quickly. Now, what will happen is that this, every time we order, and this is why we got important, right now we're going to start these order processes right now, we'll get a daily report sent right over to Mike over there at the camp. As soon as he receives them, we're going to start adding them into, Mike will start adding them into the system, on their system, what Mike will show us today. And then that link will be sent over to that scout or that leader for them to be registered on the system, so they can go and actually put the scouts program and the camp program listed. So that's kind of important for us to start understanding. We're going to need to start getting all these scouts registered on the system, parents registered, and scout leaders registered on the system. And then from there, we're going to need to go ahead and actually get it set up so that Mike can do his job, or his team can do their job, to make sure that we get the classes set up for the summer. And Mike will talk about that, about the exciting things. If you want to look at that other video, just look at that video we kind of talked about. Mike will really give us an explanation on some of the great things that are going to be available. So what I'm going to do now, because our part is kind of done, I'm going to kind of switch it over to Mike so that we can promote him or let him see his screen. So let me go ahead and do this right here. I'm going to allow Mike to go ahead and actually take control of your screen. I must have you so you can share. Aha. So you are now sharing your screen, Mike.
Okay.
So you want to go ahead and...
Yep. You can see the blue logo, 1950 to 2020, right? Right in this area?
Yes, I can see. Can everybody see the blue logo? I see Boy Scouts of America, Central Florida. I see the 1950 and the 2020. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I've got one quick question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've got one. Is this coming through Zoom or is this coming through the web, through the webinar?
What do you mean? It's coming through the webinar.
Zoom or is sharing through the webinar?
Yeah, webinar.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you. I'm sorry, Mike. Keep going.
No, you're good. No worries. Okay, so basically, and I appreciate the detailed data collection, because I'm going to show you the customer side of some of these things on our system, and what I'd like to assure you is that our team is going to transfer the data from what you collect through your registration portal into the data segments that you're about to see me go through. So if you see some blanks and some like scout number 15 or whatever listed there, that's just simply a placeholder right now for us to be able to input that data as your people register. So I appreciate the fact that you checked all the boxes and got all of the data points that we need to move forward. This is the main landing site for our summer camp program. And just for a quick reference for everyone, from our website, this is just the main Camp Lenoci landing page. You see camplenoci.com as our main web page. When you click on summer and winter camps and then summer camp, you make it basically to a summer camp, I don't know what I want to call it, landing page, splash page with a lot of resources on it. The page that I've got brought up on the tab that we started with was, not that one apparently, was this one, which is our main register now. If you get lost and have to go back to camplenoci.com and click through to summer camp, you find it by hitting register now. I'm bringing your attention to the existence of this page right here, camponochi.com/summer-camp, because there's a couple great resources here. I'm going to show you how to find those several different ways. And in fact, in the webinar chat, I put a link to this document here, the program guide. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. But I just want to orient you to navigatingcamponochi.com, because if you ever have any questions or hey, he mentioned something about something, chances are it's linkable from this page up here. So I'll probably drop this page into the chat as I wrap up as well, just so you can save it as a reference. So this is our main landing page. This is how a camper would register for any of our summer camp programs. It's got a lot of policy, procedures, and kind of what's new and fun in 2020. That's also included in the program guide. But I want you to be also familiar with this page, because some of your families may need to come to this page to get reference materials. All of our reference materials are linkable from this page in the bottom corner, where I'm kind of working my mouse arrow around. This is a bunch of really important reference material, forms that they may need. Obviously, you're probably doing your own health form stuff. Some programmatic things that we will send them if they register for certain classes. But again, as a reference, as a resource, I want you to know how to find this stuff on your own. So just in recap of this very quick whirlwind tour of our site, this is getting you to the summer camp page. And then when you click register now, you wind up on apparently a broken link. Wow, I'm really glad I did this. I think, yeah, well, when I fix it, because apparently that's busted, you'll end up here. And so that's got the reference materials I was just talking about. So here's what I want to show you, though, today. The priority for your group right now should be to promote the two documents that I'm about to show you. The first document is the one that I put a link in the chat segment of the webinar, and that is the program guide for this summer. This goes through in fairly exhaustive detail, 30 some odd pages of detail, all of the stuff that's going on this summer at camp. It talks a little bit about our 70th anniversary and the history of the camp. It goes through the day-to-day program schedule that we follow while you're on camp. And this won't really deviate for the first week that you're with us. We're going to follow this basic schedule. It talks about some of the programs that you can actually only find at our particular camp. So it gives a quick orientation about what we think is pretty unique. It also then just gives you a rundown of each of our program areas and what is offered in each. So I'm not going to read you every word off of this page, but I want you to kind of become familiar with it yourselves, but more so share that link. That is a live link to our PDF. It can be downloaded. It can be uploaded onto right now this is a PDF that if I just click download, I'm going to save it to my hard drive, and I can attach that to emails. I can post it on the web. Whatever you want to do with this document, go nuts. Get it out there and make sure people are reading it.
Right.
Particularly as we get into what is page 16, about midway through the document, you're going to start to see the detailed breakdown of how each of the activities and programs work this summer. And it's going to give you a summary of what the area is, and then it's going to give you each of the individual classes and some reference information on if there's prerequisites or if there are other details somewhere else in the guide. But basically, this is your Scouts' roadmap to what they can sign up for during that first week of your experience. And notice on the right-hand side, there's some items that are not completed at camp. You'll also see those listed in a couple other places as they navigate the sign-up. Oftentimes, we'll also call those prerequisites, although you don't have to have completed them to participate in the class. It's just simply making them aware that they're not necessarily going to be able to start from scratch on day one and walk out of camp with that merit badge. So again, this is just an awareness builder for you, but please make sure that this is shared outwardly to all of your campers. Can't think. So we're doing something new because of our 70th anniversary, and that fantastically continues on to the next page. It makes sense when you see this in print form. But we are taking all of our programs and we're consolidating them into a 4-day merit badge experience Monday through Thursday. That means that every Friday all summer, we're throwing a big party. And it's half competitive experience and half celebration. So all of the scouts on camp are going to be going out and doing activities and programs throughout camp side by side with each other that we don't offer normally. We'll be doing special feature activities in each of our departments all throughout the morning, and it kind of comes with a fun competition element that you see on page 25. But as soon as lunchtime hits, it's all party. We're doing a big Cheeseburgers in Paradise down at our lakefront. We're going to open up a bunch of carnival games and open experiences. There's been talk of getting some crazy inflatable water slides. We're going to open up shooting sports and aquatics and all kinds of things. It's just kind of our blowout celebration of the end of the week. So I bring that to your attention because it's unique. It's going to be a fun opportunity for all the scouts on camp property.
Got it.
Now, go ahead.
I apologize, Mike, but I just want to add in real fast because it is being recorded. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have inside of the confirmation email after every registration that they receive the link to this, and also I'm going to have that link to on the website. So I'm glad you've been showing this. I appreciate that greatly.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm gonna give
why
you.
You're saying that on that Friday, the vast majority of our folks will be doing the excursions, but there may be some who actually may stay back and then participate in your carnival activity you have going on.
On-site stuff, yeah. What excursions were you planning on Friday?
Okay, Friday would be the Cape Canaveral, and then Saturday we would be doing one of the Disney parks.
Perfect. Okay. Then that is awesome. I was going to start to scroll past and show you that we're actually offering that as a Friday experience to all of our campers this year with a variety of off-site experiences they could choose from as well. They come with an additional cost. I mean, we've talked and you guys have your plan in place. But if any of the stuff on pages 26 and 27 of the guide, or 20 all the way to 28, I guess, if any of that interests you as well, let me know and we can line those up for your scouts too. So we're trying to do something. Again, it's our 70th anniversary. We got to do some cool stuff while everybody's out at camp. So I don't want to throw any of your plans out of whack, and I would rather you guys kind of follow through with whatever your plan is. But as you read through this, if you're like, well, that sounds pretty neat, feel free to let me know, and we can work to arrange something for you, okay?
Excellent. Thank you.
So definitely in your communication, you said you're going to communicate this with a link. Maybe in part of your communication, make sure that people understand that this program guide serves all 6 weeks of summer. So there's going to be elements of it, particularly page 29, excuse me, doesn't really apply to your group. There's going to be elements of fees and different things going on that doesn't really apply to your group. So just let everybody know that if they're going, well, now it costs what, and I got to do what, additional what now? It's not. This is
just come
really,
back up.
Yep. If they've got questions, hopefully they check in with you guys first. And if you need clarification from me, by all means, let me know.
Great.
So So the other document that I want to make sure that you share as part of this, and it will help them in choosing what activities they would like to do. We'll look at page 20 here, just as an example. So we've got a list of different programs. These are in particular, these are merit badge programs in both our Leadership Academy, which usually focuses on Eagle required merit badges, and then also our Native American area, which is a very Lenoche unique experience. It is an immersive space. It's awesome. This gives you some detail, but it doesn't really tell you, okay, what time is this offered, this Citizenship in the Community Family Life class? When do I sign up for that? How does it all work? That is done on purpose. We know we are going to offer this merit badge. We know how many periods they are going to take, and we know all this detail. What we make sure to keep separate from this document is exactly how the schedule lays out, because if we have to make minor adjustments to things, we want them updated in real time. So that brings me to the other document that I would like you to share with your folks. And you can share this. You can share this link. It's a long, unruly link, and I don't want to post it on your. Well, I'll post it on the chat.
You can email it, or you can email it.
It'll be better. I will also show you that from this summer camp page we were on earlier, assuming this button actually works, that class schedule button right in the middle. Hold on. Yep. Okay. So that middle button takes you to it in real time. That means if our camp director went on and said, you know what, we don't need period 5 anymore for this class in aquatic supervision, he could go online, change it, and when I refresh this page, all of a sudden that last block would disappear. This document is your class schedule so that your scouts can look at things, and I want to go to leadership, so we're using kind of the same example. Of course, it's like probably alphabetical, so yeah, there you go. They can look at this, and hopefully this is coming through on your screen just fine, but they look at this and they say, okay, that class is offered 4 days a week, which is pretty standard for us, and we actually offer it 2 different times. You can either take it period 5, which is 2:30 p.m., or period 6, which is 3:30 p.m. If, on the other hand, you see A side by side in a block, that means that it's being offered for 2 periods, in a row. So this is a 2-period class. And if we go back to our program guide, we'll find communications. That requires 2 periods. It tells us right here. Well, our document that we were just looking at explains that is offered period 1 and 2. And then it picks up again in period 3 through 4. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So this class schedule document is a companion to the program guide. Both of these need to be shared so that people can say, boy, American heritage and American culture sounds really cool, but when is it offered? Okay, that's offered period 1. But I really wanted to take citizenship in the nation. I'm going to have to make a hard decision. Oh, wait, period 4. I can do sit in the nation, period 4. I can do American cultures, American heritage, period 1. I'm all set, and I got a bunch more periods to fill. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, what I said kind of at the beginning of this part of my talk is these 2 documents, I love your idea of as soon as they're registered, bing, they get these 2 documents to start looking at, because this is how they plan their life. So if they read through the program guide, they will also get a very clear understanding. I'm sorry, you don't need to be able to read that fast. I'm just skipping back up to the beginning. They'll get a very clear understanding if they read through these first few pages 3, 4, and 5, how each of the periods work. Okay, so if some of this is like, well, I don't really get that, read the program guide, and it really takes you step by step through what all of these periods are. And then basically my hope is that every scout comes in and says, I'm going to fill my program time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with as much cool stuff as possible, okay? And then to figure out what that cool stuff is and when it's offered, that's where this class schedule comes in. So companion pieces. So let's go. Do you have any questions at this point?
No, I got it now. So the first couple of pages kind of goes over the scheduling, the programming, and then they can look at that. Then they can look at this right here to see exactly when those classes will be available and, what time slots and everything else will be available. I got it.
Exactly. Yeah. It is very similar to the process a kid is going to use to sign up for classes in high school or college. You kind of see, okay, these are my slots that I have to fill. How do I build my schedule? A kid who wants to do, a scout who wants to do ATV program, for instance, they're going to fill half their day with that program. It's just the way it works. It's going to fill half their day. Same with Project Cope, same with several other things, whereas maybe a younger scout, because obviously some of these have age restrictions. That's all outlined, by the way, in the program guide. Some of the younger scouts may jump in on some of the aquatics programs. Well, shoot, they can take their pick of times to sign up for instructional swim. We run it 6 times a day, okay? So all of that being said, your scout is going to register on your site, right? They're going to get all the information input on your end, and your confirmation email provides them with these 2 documents. Then I hope that they take some time right away and look through them, because within 24 to 48 hours, they are going to get an email. And that email, there we go, that looks good. That email is going to have the information here. And this information gives them a link to visit, and it gives them an ID and password. This is going to be their ticket to sign up for classes. So, again, I'm going to take, I'm going to say within 48 hours of that live update, when you guys have added somebody to your system, those new folks are going to get an email with some of this information. But instead of this random placeholder, it's going to have the scout's name. Okay? So it'll be John Doe and then their ID and password. When they click on this link, and I'm not going to do it because it will dead end us right now because it's not active, but if I clicked on this link, it'll pop up with a box for attendee ID and password. When they plug in, and usually this is a parent thing, but I would hope that the parent and scout are sitting side by side at a computer, or in many cases, the scout is the one that sits down at the computer and the parent says, good luck. But when they get on there and they put in their username and password, it opens up a screen that will look a lot like this. So here is the interface that they will be working with. But keep in mind, all of the data points that you see here will already be filled in for them using the data that you're giving me. That's why I say 24 to 48 hours, because our team needs time to get the new scouts uploaded and updated in the system. But all of the information that you have you've collected will be captured here. Okay? So they'll see their dietary restrictions, their allergies, all the stuff. Incidentally, this will be a chance for them to change or update anything that they need to. So if they forgot to fill in dietary restrictions, they can update that. And what's nice is I can give you the same kind of access that you're giving me on your end. So I can have updated reports sent to all of you that tell you that John Doe went in and changed something. So we can share information back and forth that way.
Right. Hey, Mike, I got a quick question. This is actually from one of the attendees on the webinar. What accommodations will you actually have available for Girl Scouts?
So all of the sites that we have available are meant to be single gender as far as the youth using them. So if you have if you have in particular young ladies coming, whether they are coming with a Girl Scout troop or a Scouts BSA troop for girls or what have you, we will have a site available for them. I need to remember, I'll need to, I don't want to navigate out of this right now, but I need to go remember exactly which sites I set aside for all of you. I believe I set up a mixture of sites with tents and with Adirondack cabins. So it will be somewhat up to your group how you would like to divvy up those sites.
Okay, great.
Okay. So
hopefully, I want to make sure. 1 minute. What about? So she asked, what about classes to meet the Girl Scout patch requirements?
Oh,
any classes
very good. Boy, great question. Great question that I don't have an immediate answer to, and I have no problem admitting that. Because of my lack of immediate familiarity with Girl Scout badge requirements, I can't speak to it off the top of my head. What I can say in general is that there is a lot of commonality across most of the outdoor-related badges. So a swimming badge, a swimming merit badge for our Scouts BSA troops aligns very, very well with Girl Scout requirements for swimming. In some cases, one program or the other is more or less rigorous, and it goes both ways. I will tell you that right now. So I don't know off the top of my head. What I think would be helpful is to know, I can definitely look into this and get someone who's a little bit more knowledgeable than I am on the Girl Scout side of things to recommend parallel badges. And what that would mean is that they'd still go onto our system and they would sign up for swimming, to use that as an example, and they would do the swimming merit badge program as we've got it outlined. But at the end of it, we would make sure that there's a calibration document that explains, okay, our requirement 2C is your requirement 4A, to try to bridge that gap. And I have no problem working with a couple people that I know have more experience than I do.
Perfect. Just want to make sure, is that acceptable? Just want to make sure that question was taken care of. What was doing in the chat? 1 second. Let me go and make sure that's okay with that.
And I would add to that.
And the same question,
go ahead.
And the same question is for the Cubs.
Yes. So Cub Scouts, I've got my Cub Scout program director, Lee Taylor, who is working through some special offerings for Cub Scouts. So our Cub Scouts, as we get them signed up, they won't have the interface that I'm about to show you to walk you through. They are going to be more or less curated with their experience, because we have a you may have seen it on this document here. One of the programs that we really do a great job with is our first year camper program, or our Trailblazers program. It's really meant to follow the Scout Through First Class track for Scouts BSA, but in the case of our Cub Scouts, a lot of the requirements for their outdoor related adventure loops work within this world. So Lee is working to adapt some of the materials from this section to kind of realign them a little bit and give your Cub Scouts a really great kind of Cub Scout focused experience. But they won't have to select classes, because they will be grouped up in basically a functional den, and they'll get to experience camp through that lens. And especially your Webelos will get a lot out of that offering. I can't remember how young you are involving Cubs. Do you have Cubs Do you have like tigers and wolves that'll be coming to this?
It's possible. I don't know exactly which. I don't know if they will start there or they'll start with the bears.
Okay.
We have to see. We have to see how they register. It's open. It's open, so we'll have to see who registers.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely preparing with Lee a good selection of things that we can engage your cubs in, and I wouldn't worry too much on that side. I do need to do a little bit more work on the Girl Scout side. And what I was about to say is that the individual who's asking the question, or anyone who's interested in kind of looking at what we can offer for Girl Scouts, I would encourage them. You can share my contact information. If we can set up a time to talk over the phone, to just kind of talk through maybe things they'd like to have access to, I can tell you pretty quickly the things we have access to and we don't, and then it's just a matter of taking those items and calibrating them to what we offer at camp.
Got it. Right, and then I guess too, the program guide, would that be a good offering also? Because we get a list. Okay, so she said she's open to talk, and along with some of our leaders. So she's good to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share your contact information right now, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And then that'll be good. So I'm going to do it right now, actually. So 1 second.
Yep.
And I'm going to put it inside the chat for everybody to see. Okay. This is good.
My only request is if the best way to do this would be to email me a couple options for times and dates to get together over the phone, and then I can set aside, block some time to talk. And let's not plan on a follow-up call immediately following our webinar here, because my wife is already frustrated by 2 back-to-back webinars. So I can hear the dog giving her all kinds of grief right now, which I'm glad. I'm in the back office of the house, so I'm safe. But yeah, I would love to set some time and talk to people and get some ideas, and anything that they can suggest to me. Maybe there's things that we can add to our offerings during that week that maybe we'll continue offering for the future, because I'd like to be able to better serve Girl Scouts. I think it's a great opportunity. So I'm open to all kinds of advice.
Good. And then what we're going to do is this webinar is being recorded, and we're going to actually have it available to go and send out throughout the whole AME denomination. One, to get people promoted and getting things moving forward, but also to help the leaders and also the leaders and parents and scouts, because they will be able to go and see exactly this, go through the scheduling, see how things are going to go. We're going to have the links to obviously the health forms, but also the PDF that you have available in the camp schedules, so that they can go ahead and actually see, and then that have the understanding that we need to get these guys to go ahead and register on the AAMECamporee.com website, and that'll be linked to this too. That'll go right to the registration, so that we can start getting these guys on the system so they can receive the emails and everything else. So we just got to keep things moving. But also, Mike, you were saying earlier today that you're actually it's a time frame that you have just for the AME denomination on how we got like a little bit of leeway before the rest of the public gets to the camp. Talk a little bit about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm going to do to kind of give you guys a better shot at some of the programs here is we'll go live with class sign up on March 1st, which is just less than a week away. But the week that you guys are going to be, our 4th week, I'm going to hold back a number of seats in each of the classes, particularly the classes that are popular. And I'm going to hold them back for a period of time that maybe we can decide even right now. but I'd like to kind of give a window of time that says, okay, to give you a little bit of incentive that you can put out there to folks saying, if you want these premium classes, if your 14 through 16-year-olds want a chance to get on one of those ATVs for part of their program, if you want a shot at our horsemanship program that we've got, you've got to be registered by a certain date, because if you don't register by this certain date, those classes might already be filled. And if the date is March 15th or April 1 or whatever it is, I'd like to maybe not go more than a month of holding those seats, but
Right.
to build a sense of urgency for your folks. And then what will happen is whenever that date strikes, I'll go ahead and release all the remaining seats so that your scouts and everybody else has a shot at them. So
Right.
would you like, what would the right date be?
Let's go ahead and make that date April 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm not going to be very scientific on the number of seats that I hold back. I'm going to look at some of the prime classes that often get filled like right away overnight, and I'm going to pull back a percentage of them, maybe 20 to 30% of the seats I'll hold back from the main pool, let everybody else kind of get in there and grab those seats up, and then that'll mean that you know, your scouts have an equal share of opportunity toward those classes.
Great.
Okay.
Excellent.
You know, this is really, Mike, this is really great. This is really awesome because, again, we're recording this. We're going to blast it out to all of the districts, get the bishops involved and everything else, so they can get the parents and the scout leaders and everything else, and the scouts kind of involved, and especially, like one of the comments on here, the ATV classes will definitely be a top class.
Yeah,
so that'd be a good thing.
I know it, yeah. And when you look at the program guide, you'll see two different age brackets for ATV, so I'll hold seats in both of those age brackets. We do that because we have equipment that's better suited for certain ages, so we're actually required to say if you're below this age, you've got to use this machine, and above this age, you use the other. So I'll make sure that a good cross-section of program is set aside. But speaking of class sign-up, I want to pick back up kind of where I was here and finish out how this looks from your customer's side. Because remember, they're going to put in their information on your end. They're going to have some time to look at the program guide, and then they're going to want to follow the link that I share with them here to get onto a screen that looks like this. And you'll see all the data points above the class schedule portion. All of it will be filled in with their actual info. And then you'll see select classes is this button here. When they do that, assuming I clicked all the right buttons before we started here today, they will see all the information that they just looked at in the program guide. All the same details for all the same activities, and they can navigate it a number of different ways. You see a search box, so I really want to sign up for swimming. Boom, there's all my swimming programs. That ATV thing sounds cool. I better sign up for one of those. We can use the search bar to find all sorts of, use it differently to find all the programs applicable. You can also search it by the heading that was displayed on this document. So we were looking at the class schedule. By the way, we also use these same headings in the program guide, but we were looking at this class schedule, and this schedule is for aquatics classes. So when I'm looking for my classes, I know my scout wants to do aquatics. There's all the aquatics programs that come up. I can also, as I go through my schedule, I'm realizing, okay, I still need to find something for period 4. So now I can use that drop down, and sometimes you need to reset those. Come on, period 4. Nothing is available, period 4. What's going on? Oh, oops. I just added lifeguard to period 1. Oh, that's why, because lifeguard takes up too much. Let's go period 2. That's better. The problem was lifeguard also exists in period 4, so I was stuck. But you can see how you can use this stuff to navigate different portions of the selection, and then it's as easy as saying, okay, my scout wants kayaking, wants to do it period 6. I click on it. Boom, it's now added to my schedule. Okay, now I'm doing programming period 5. Boom, it's added to my schedule. It is that easy. Oh yeah, I want to do a morning ATV class. Boom, now I've got ATV. And as you go, you see the button View All Classes here. If I click back to Show Class Schedule, it's going to give me a snapshot of what's going on with my schedule. Well, I still need a period 4 class. So let's go back to Select Classes, and it's going to default to only the period 4 activities. Well,
right.
Indian lore sounds fun. Boom, clicked over, Show Class Schedule. I now have a complete schedule of program. That's it. And
man, I wish I could be young again.
That looks like a pretty good summer. If, for instance, oh man, I didn't mean to do programming. I want to do something else. Period 5. Just click that one, and it pulls it out of the schedule. And you'll see now we have an opening on period 5. Back to Select Classes, and now we really want to do snorkeling instead. And now my class schedule is filled that way. Okay? It's pretty much that easy. If a class has already been maxed out, then it will not show up here, or it will show that it has 0 slots available. I actually honestly can't remember. But it will make it very clear that you cannot select that class. I'm going to take all those classes off of this imaginary scout that we're giving such a good schedule to. But really, this interface is that simple. They work through this Select Classes button. They select the things that they want using the menu from the right over to the menu to the left, and they're done. And it saves it as it goes. So when they're all done, they can go down and hit save, but it technically updates the entire time. And there are some optional things here that may or may not show up. You're seeing an admin view, so there are things here that the customer will not see at all. For instance, they would not see some of this leader stuff because we're technically on a scout registration. Because I'm an admin, you see all kinds of random stuff. But they will have a chance, if they would like, they can pre-order a T-shirt from our camp. It's an option. I didn't put it in the communication to you guys because it's just something that's there. If they would like to buy this year's T-shirt, they're welcome to. But I'm also not pushing T-shirts. So.
Excellent. Wow.
So
I mean, this is pretty good. This is good. Mike, I really appreciate you giving the time, especially with a young puppy at your house.
My wife is doing a great job parenting. She'll be sick of it in a few minutes. But I also wanted to just very briefly, because we haven't addressed the additional days that you'll be on property. So this schedule takes us really through Friday, and then you've got excursions planned Saturday, and then are you doing more Disney on Sunday? Or are you going to be on?
No, we'll be back on. We'll be back on campus on Sunday. You don't have any programs on Sunday, right?
No, we will not have any programs that Sunday. We do not currently have any other campers in camp on Sunday. But we could arrange to have program available. So here's where you guys get to have some fun. And I want to leave this open to your group to even make decisions while you're on site. I talked to our camp director and program director who will be running summer camp and kind of said, why don't we give them the option to experience a few days of summer camp and then choose some additional things that they would either like to add to their experience that they haven't gotten a chance to do yet, or do again because it was just so darn fun. So we will have staff available on site for the duration of your stay. There will be some departments that we release some staff for a little bit of a week off, basically, because we won't need our full complement of staff for you guys. But we will have each area staffed to an extent that says if you said, boy, I would just like to spend all day going back and forth on the zip line until I'm sick of it, we could do that. If your scouts said, you know, I would love to just have a day at the pool and the lake and bounce back and forth between the two, we can accommodate that. We would like to open up program for the remainder of your stay based on what your preference is. And within reason, we think we can probably accommodate just about any request.
Cool. I think we have one last question, Mike, real fast. What is the earliest we can arrive on the 28th, and what's the latest we can leave on the 8th?
So I'll do the easy one first. Latest you can leave on the 28th is whenever you...
on the 8th, July 8th. Sorry.
Whenever you feel like you've got to leave finally. Because we don't have any other campers and our staff is kind of at your service, you can depart whenever.
It was arrive on the, I'm sorry, clear it. It's arriving on the 28th, and we're departing on the 8th. So,
if I screwed that up too many times, I apologize. Speaking of your departure time first, because it's easiest, July 8th, if you would like to stay on property until 11:59 p.m., go for it. You don't have a certain departure time, at least in my book. I would probably like to release some of my staff sometime in the evening after what would be normal program time around 5 p.m., but if you would like to stay and have dinner and depart after dinner, that's fine. We are not pushing a certain schedule on the 8th.
Okay. The vast majority of everyone will be gone that morning. Now, I don't know if there'll be a couple of stragglers that will stay behind, but the whole purpose is for them to be for the opening ceremony on the 8th. So the vast majority will be going early in the morning. And what we probably would ask is if you would have just like a box Continental that they can carry on the bus on their way out.
Yeah, that's easy. And usually on departure days, whenever we have groups, we'll usually kind of err on the side of a take-and-go breakfast and lunch because we know some people have to leave first thing. So they can come through, grab a muffin and a piece of fruit, and head on the way. But we can make a box lunch available as well that day. Not a problem.
Now the tough one.
Yeah, on the 28th, well, it's just more strict. It's not challenging because I have an answer to it. 1 p.m. is our check-in time. That is when our staff is all hands on deck, ready to receive. Early arrivals we can accommodate, but we won't have a lot of services in place because our staff is just arriving back off of their 24-hour break time. And traditionally at about 11 o'clock, we gather our staff together. We serve an early lunch to our staff, and we have a staff meeting to remind them how to do check-in again, just to be on the safe side. And then everybody is pretty much at their check-in stations by 12:59, so that 1 p.m. strikes, we can start checking in the troops.
Sounds good. So that is 1 p.m. on the 28th, and probably on the 8th, we will actually set a time for everybody to leave on the 8th, but we can have scragglers leave out a little bit later on the 8th. Perfect.
We can be flexible on the 8th.
Okay. Good. So the first meal on that Sunday will be that dinner, is our understanding, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. That's how
So,
we figured it.
is there any other questions on the chat? Make sure. So I want to make sure we keep a good time. We know that we're going to have this. Okay, we're good. So the chat's good. So, Director Creighton, what do you think? You want to ask any more questions?
No, I think
Mike?
that we've probably asked or have heard as much as we can absorb right now. We'll probably have some other questions that we can submit an email to Mike, and then we'll make sure that the Girl Scouts, we'll have them come together and let's talk about what type of programs they actually want to see and how they mash up with the programs that are already in place. And if there needs to be something different, then we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, and I'm not too concerned about it. I think we'll find just tons of common ground, and we're doing something similar for another organization that basically they provided us with a set of things that they were hoping to complete out of their own curriculum, and it took us a couple days. We sat down with some minds much sharper than my own, and we all figured out how everything aligned, and we were able to make it work great for them. So I expect the same thing will be probably easier because of so much commonality between the two scouting programs.
Absolutely. Okay. I think that we have approached our hour limit. So unless there's something else, Brother Wilson, that you need to go over with Mike can get off, and then we can go ahead and close out.
All right. Well, that's great. Let's go ahead and do that, and let's close out. Mike, I really appreciate you. You of course you'll be hearing from me for getting some stuff together, and of course you'll be receiving an email from the Girl Scouts and getting that stuff together. But I appreciate you.
We do have one last question. What is
go
the
ahead.
puppy?
Yeah.
What is the puppy?
It is a Louisiana Catahoula leopard dog, which you either know what it is or you don't. It is Google it, but it is a really beautiful 11-week-old ball of insanity right now. But we like him. So his name is Nico, and he is at this point too smart for his own good. So we expect great things from him, and he's just got to stop making messes, and we should be fine. But I want to just wrap up and end on my side by just thanking you guys for what you're doing, and for just how downright organized you seem to be. I have not worked with any groups that organize webinars and pull things together from different parts of the country as seamlessly as I've watched you guys do. So just my own personal thanks and kudos for that. And I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is we need to do more of these kinds of things in our scouting community, and I'm just really really grateful for the work that you're putting into it.
Well, it's called 1 weekend out of the month. Isn't that the scout and leader?
Right.
Oh,
right.
I'm sorry. I just thought I did.
That's how they convinced me to be a professional. Let me tell you, I understand.
Well, I appreciate you, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, I'd like to say your presentation is awesome here, and for us to be able to use this as a webinar to kind of explain to our leaders what it is that we really would like them to do, I think this is going to be great.
Yeah, I do too, and I'm really looking forward to it, and so is our staff. They were really pumped when I said, hey, we got some special guests coming and some really enthusiastic folks, and just a new approach to how we do our summer camp program is always welcome. So we're looking forward to our 70th summer, and we're really glad you guys are going to be a part of it.
Thank you, and we're excited about it as well. And thank you for just extending yourself to us the way you have.
Absolutely. Anything I can do, again, within reason, you just don't hesitate to ask.
All right, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, so
Okay, everybody.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing there.
Kick me out.
I think I did. I stopped the sharing at least.
Nope, no
all
worries.
Right. Appreciate it.
You all have a great night. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, Brother Wilson, everything that he was showing us on the computer, people will be able to pick that up as part of the webinar, or just the voice part?
No, it's a webinar. It was all recorded.
Okay, so we'll be able to see and hear everything on the webinar. Cool.
Yep.
All right then. Good.
So we need to start
directing them to that. So who all do we have on the call?
You got Tony Franklin.
We got Tony.
I'm gonna hold on.
Who's the next person?